because I can tell you, looking into his eyes, he's all bird. He's not making this silhouette yet. So I'm gonna actually, Blaine, if you can take him out of here, I'm getting rid of the bird. We'll see if the silhouette can meet him.
Hi folks, welcome to Bird Dogs Afield. Have a great episode for you today. We're going to do an in-depth episode on backing, how to train for backing, and it's going to be conducted by the Carter family from Brunswick, Maine, Merrymeeting Kennels. That's Jason Carter and his father Blaine and his mother Patty. This is in-depth. This is real dog training. It shows the good, the bad, and the ugly. So watch, it's two parts, so watch both parts if you want to really get serious about teaching your dog to back. We're going to start out with some explanation of the philosophy of backing and how the Carter family does it. And then we're going to show you a perfect backing scenario in a big field. And then we're going to go to part two, and that's going to show some green dogs, some dogs that have no experience with backing, and how to kind of show them the way, how to get them into this backing situation. So if you're really serious about teaching your dog to back, why, watch both parts, part one and part two. Thank you. Enjoy. Hi folks, welcome to Bird Dogs Afield. We're here today with one of our special guests. He's been with us many times, professional trainer Jason Carter. Jason, welcome to Bird Dogs Afield.
Hey Paul, welcome back.
Great, I know.
Welcome to mud season.
Well, you're right. But we've done some great programming with Jason before. Jason, tell me what we're going to do today.
Well, today I think we should go into doing a little backing piece, figure out developmentally how to get backing from the beginning all the way through to the end, to some more advanced backing, and some, maybe explain some of the pitfalls we may run into in backing, and see if we can't put some information out to the folks.
Why do we want our dogs to back?
Well, when we're out upland hunting, a lot of times when our dog's on point, we need to bring in a dog that comes in behind. And we can't have a dog that's interfering. And if you've ever been hunting with somebody whose dog is interfering with a pointing, it's just terrible. It's a mess and it's a pain. And it really takes some of the enjoyment out of the hunting. So when a dog's on point, you want your dog, if it's your dog backing, to stay out of the way where it's safe. And so you guys can get involved, you guys can harvest your birds, and the dog stays somewhere that's safe and doesn't interfere with a pointing dog.
Fantastic. Let's get going.
All right, awesome.
All right. Okay.
Bird Dogs Afield, presented by Native Performance Dog Food, providing performance diets for the canine athlete, and brought to you in part by RST, manufacturers of short chamber low pressure shot shells, Mud River Dog Products, fundamentally changing the expectations of the hunter and dog enthusiast. Pete Shoe Dryer, inventor of the footwear dryer, takes on the nuisance of foot odor. Thorogood, job-fitted footwear, handcrafted in America since 1892. Visit thoroughgoodusa.com for a dealer near you. Merkel Shotguns, made with pure passion and reliable craftsmanship that never fades.
All right, so we're going to talk about backing today. With us today we have the owner of Merrymeeting Kennels, Blaine Carter. He's going to be my assistant. Yeah, we'll put him to work. And his wife, Patty Carter, my mother.
The runner
the true runner of the kennel, yeah. And I like to start with talking about some of the things that we're going to need for the equipment when we do backing. Right here, if you're training alone and doing backing alone, and you don't have access to a dog. we have I don't know what you want to call it, back off jack. We have the Judas Priest of the backing dogs. And you can use these. These are very effective. They make up, Lion Country makes up a pop-up trap that brings up the dog, which works really well. The whole idea of backing is to trigger the dog that something visually is going to happen. So when they see a pointing dog or they see the silhouette, a bird will pop. So what you're taking is a dog that visually sees something in their environment and putting something very attractive to it, very powerful. So what's going to happen is the dog sees either, it can be just this cutout, but knows that that bird's going to pop and it's going to trigger that pointing.
Those cutouts are very good for the hunter that has not accessibility to the field. Like he could go to his house, put it around the corner of the house, bring the dog, and with the use of the pop-up trap, because it has sound as well, you can draw his attention to that backup jack, and then you have something then pop up, a retrieve article of some sort. So every time he sees that dog, something's happening. So it draws his eye right at it.
So the visual is hugely important as backing goes. A lot of times we use white dogs or dogs that are bright to contrast into the background. So when the dog visually sees a setup, it knows something's going to happen. A bird's going to go out, it's going to get shot. What also can drive them up is by giving them the retrieve after the bird is shot. Yeah. We'll show you all of these pieces moving forward here, but you'll need these pop-up traps are great because remotely you can send the bird out. So when the dog comes in and sees the silhouette or sees a dog on point, you can pop the bird, and so the dog feels like maybe it's causing the bird to fly. So it will strengthen that point and create some backing.
And if you're not creating some kind of desire for the dog to want to get in there, it's a losing battle.
You had a dog that was actually addicted to bumpers. And I cut a bumper in half, stuck it in that trap, and I walked around with my little my dog and set it in the sunlight against the tree. And every time we came around the corner and she spotted the dog, up popped this bumper, and she went to get her reward, the retrieve. And I eventually went to a pop-up quail that was tied to the trap and then evolved to just a flying bird.
Well, we did that with Aspen.
That was Aspen, right.
Yeah,
She's addicted,
and
right.
we ended up with a VC.
So basically whatever your dog is passionate about, whether it's game or bumpers or toys, balls, you can use it to establish that backing instinct.
Great.
And some of the genetic package that you come to in the situation is hugely important. Your breeder's going to provide you with that strong pointing instinct. Having a really strong pointing desire before you go into this is important. Some of the dogs that are a little more stubborn, a little more driven, a little more want to get into that scent cone, doesn't care that there's a bird there.
They want to steal point.
They're gonna go in and steal point. There's some dogs that if you pressure them too much, if they feel this pressure, they feel the setup, or you overdo this, and that's a big one too. You can overdo this easily, and if you overdo it, that dog's gonna blink it. So he's gonna see the setup and be like, yeah, no, I got yelled at last time, I got stimmed with the collar, I'm gonna avoid it, and maybe when you're not looking, I'm gonna sneak down in and steal the point. So you got to be really careful when we're doing backing not to overpressure dogs that are new to it, and to make sure that it's drive based. Now if you think about pointing is all drive based. The dog finds game, it's excited about game, and the higher the drive is, the stronger the point. So you start stealing any drive in this process, you're going to lose your pointing, you're going to lose your backing in the process, and then you get a dog that stands point, and you're in a dilemma at that point. Do you either let the dog steal point? Well, initially, yeah. You know, when we're teaching it, we'll let the dog get in the scent cone. Be like, okay, there's a bird there. There it goes. And then we back them out. But if a dog is not having that drive package, not getting staunch on point, then what we're going to do is we're going to woe the dog. And we got to be really careful on how much pressure at that point you put on the dog, because then the dog is not pointing, it's standing point. And it's different. And some of our softer dogs, some of the dogs that have more drive either in or softer to pressure, they're going to stand point. It's not going to look as pretty.
And to get some of the desire in on those dogs, sometimes never go to them. You go to where all the action is, so you draw their interest towards the action.
And what he's saying is, in the steadiness process, we often go to our dogs every single time. And as soon as you come in, the dog starts flagging and starts softening. We stop going to our dogs at that point. So if a dog is backing and is staunch, and then you go over and try to interfere with what's going on there, and you see the dog soften, you're going to want to get away from that and go out ahead and allow the shooting and things happen.
It's a balancing game, and you have to read your dog really well, or you're going to run into those problems you're discussing. So it's like, to avoid them, you're better off to quit early than to push through and try to get that.
The age-old thing is when do you quit? When the dog wants to do more.
Yeah, always quit. And that's a great philosophy in all of your training. Always stop when your dog wants more. All right, so what do you say we set up a scenario and we show what it, well, hopefully we show what it should look like.
We'll see what's happening.
And so you're going to bring your dog Tiza?
Well, yeah, or Ron's going to do the young dog. What are you going to start? Oh, you're going to start with the adults, the finished
Let's show the finished product.
finished dog.
We'll take what we can get, and then we can bring Fergie in. Now, his dog came from a great breeder, I heard. Has a really strong pointing instinct. Did you ever have to teach backing?
No, she's a natural.
Right. So you just took her to the woods with your friends and
I
family.
had to go to South Dakota.
Yeah.
On pheasant, and she learned it up there.
Okay.
And quail.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a roller coaster right now because she's not quite a year, so she's just in the learning portion.
Oh, you're talking Willa.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, that's the young dog.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna
You're
start
calling
with
your young
Willa?
dog a finished dog. Wow.
Okay. So we're gonna bring out a young developmental backer that naturally backs.
Just naturally.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Let's go there.
Because it'll give us an opportunity to see one if you think is going to be a natural backer, but there is a low command, there is some handling sometimes necessary, where she might throw out her pointing and say, I think I need to get in there.
Yep.
And I need you to know you don't get in there.
So her prey drive spikes a little bit, and
It
so
can
she's gonna
very,
go
very
down
quickly sometimes.
Out of balance.
And you see it all the time in dogs. They go up. They're like the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
especially the younger ones.
Yep.
Yep.
And you have to up
And
your
you get
training
on them
with that.
too hard and they soften, and you have to build them.
Okay.
It's a merry-go-round.
All right, go get your dogs. Let's do it. Good luck.
A real quick break for a message from the folks that make this program possible. Hi folks, you know, if you have a new puppy, you need to be very, very attentive as to what you're feeding that puppy. Native Puppy Level 3 is what you need. It's a great start for your pup. None of the unwanted grains like soy, wheat, corn are in there. So Puppy Level 3, and then from there you go on to the Native Level 2, 3, or 4, whatever fits your schedule. Check it out. Puppy Level 3 for your puppy. Hi folks, Merkel is my choice for a shotgun. Whether it be simple backyard clay shooting or competitive clay shooting or upland bird hunting, Merkel is spot on. You throw it up to your shoulder, it's always right there. Merkel is known for its elegant, high-performance shotguns. The new 40E field-grade shotgun is offered at an attainable and an affordable price. The Merkel shotgun is robust, reliable, and intuitive. That's what matters most when every split second counts. Check out Merkel today. You won't be disappointed.
All right, so the next scenario we're going to be doing here is we're in a bigger field. We're going to paint the picture for the dog. This is Willa. How old's Willa?
She's just 10 months.
10 months old, so she's just a pup. But she has a really strong pointing instinct. She's done this before. She's had a season underneath her belt, and she did beginner one, and she was backing during the season.
Yeah, she started backing pretty good. Yeah.
So if the wheels are going to fall off, what is it going to look like today?
Well, I'm expecting her to, first of all, I'm going to use my wool command and a long lead with her. If I was on an e-collar, I might be nicking her for going in there right now because her energy will be to go in there. Usually she'll back, but not always. Sometimes she doesn't like to hold, so I'm going to be using my wool command as necessary.
Okay, so she's going to come around. She at this point doesn't see. We're going to bring a pointing dog in. Ideally, we'd like the pointing dog to be perpendicular, so there's a big contrast. The field's nice and light right now, so we have a black dog out there. So when she comes, if we can get that point perpendicular, if possible, we should get a good back on it.
Right.
All right. One thing I prefer when I'm training, I like using pigeons because pigeons tend to fly better. They get up and get out. Chuckers, we'll see. Sometimes they end up back on the ground. But as long as the dog gets that visual of the bird popping up and feeling it's part of the process, we should get a pretty decent point.
Yeah, and if she still comes to break, I'm going to correct her for breaking on the flusher because she's ready now to steady.
Right. So she's in her steadiness process. She's 10 months old, but you moved her along where you can steady her up a little bit.
I think it's time for her to hold plane.
All right. Okay, so are you going to stay on lead the whole process?
No. No.
Okay,
we're gonna
so
be
you
running-
believe, because you're not running a collar, so you believe your wool package is strong enough to handle the scenario at 10 months old? All right. It's not like we're learning to ride your bike and saying, hey, look, I'm hands-free.
No, not today, but if it does, you're going to find out.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
All
Okay, so let's get the pointing dog set up. You just gotta hang tight enough. The moment I want you guys to pay attention to is the second the dog crests the hill, she'll be in visual of the pointing dog. We're gonna see the reaction. The dog's gonna go, okay, there's someone standing, there's a cameraman standing around, what is that about?
right,
and then it'll hopefully cue in on the pointing dog. And then as soon as she does, we're gonna pop. So right there. The chuckers tend not to fly off, but that's good. She saw the whole scenario. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave Willa right up here. I'm gonna fly this bird, or have Patty. Why don't you go ahead and flush the bird?
Oh, can I just...
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold up, Patty. Oh, one second.
What
Go
I
ahead.
want to do is reassure this back now. I want her to understand that I like this.
So what you want to do is you want to get in on her and say, hey, that's it,
Staunch
yeah.
her a little bit and it's good. And then
Try
I
to
go-
build a little attitude. Hold up. So Blaine's getting in there. He's going to staunch up Willa. Try to get her a little more attached to what's going on. She now can see the bird. And now he's into his steadiness now. So what he's going to look to do here is, she's already starting to break. You see that little hitch right there. She wants to get into that scent cone. That scent is a strong attractor for the dog to want to leave point and get in on it. So he's really deep into his steadiness. Pretty early in the dog's developmental age.
Whoa.
So we're going to watch Willa here on the reaction when the bird takes flight.
Wow.
Okay, there goes the bird. There's her steadiness. He put in a whoa. He's going to go back to his dog. She's not done till he gets back there. You can tell her she's a good girl. Leave it. Leave it.
Leave it.
Very nice.
Leave
That
it.
kind of sets the stage for us. That's a perfect scenario right there of how to get backing. Now she's really easy. She's on one half of backing is your dog that just has the package. Once they understand it, it's really simple to get this. The dog that wants that scent cone, that wants to, if you put a little pressure on it, wants to skirt around and kind of cheat the game. That's a different one. Then you're going to have to put woes in there, and it gets a little tricky. All right, so that was great. All right, Blaine's going to take over here for a little bit and explain how to introduce the silhouette. We have a lot of moving parts here for the first scenario. So you have a chucker, you have a silhouette, you got bird scent. What's going on here?
We got the whole gauntlet running right now. What we're trying to do is the name of the game in backing, especially for you people that are going to do yard work, you're at your homes, is we're going to have this, could be on a corner of a house, you bring him around the corner and he sees it. What we're going to do is we're going to have, as soon as he sees it, if he's not paying attention here, we're going to do an attractant, which is, we should be a beep, but that call right here, we got to turn that on.
Right now.
There we go. So as soon as he sees it, I can beep it. Now that he sees this, now he focuses. We've got a bird here just to help you realism. I could have a steak live game here. I can do anything, but the name of the game is to get this guy wanting, when he sees this, and make game association.
Which brings up a really good point. So we're setting up a scenario that the dog's hopefully going to be seeing in the field, and to start pulling out that pointing, that backing by seeing this. Dogs are visual. Dogs are, we all want to let our dogs know that they can listen to us. What I'm saying is the dog should be able to follow commands, and we're going to talk to our dog and make sure that it listens. But the dog wants to visually learn. Okay, so this is a perfect scenario. In all of your training, if you take a dog and you say, all right, whoa. So our hands come out, we show a body language of whoa. Visually, innately in our training, we've taught the dog to whoa visually. And so this just carries on with that same picture. So when the dog comes around the corner, there's a picture that is exciting to the dog. And we're gonna draw out, hopefully, the backing. Now, for you guys, we brought in very young dogs that normally we wouldn't teach backing with. They're just young. Hopefully we'll get some bad and some ugly here. Okay, and we'll hopefully be able to show you some tips on how to get the pointing, how to create the emotion, how to get the dog to take on the emotion of there's something about to happen.
Get that desire here.
Okay.
Desire to get one apiece here is so important.
Okay, so visually, auditorily, you're gonna draw their attention. Then they have visually here, and what you don't know, right behind us here is we have a bird scent that's gonna be close to the dog. But hopefully they're attaching here, not to that bird scent. But the wind's been shifting a little bit, but we're trying to give them a visual, and then also we have a bird that they can smell. So then we're gonna start taking away those crutches. Then the last step would be pointing a dog.
And if they gravitate to it immediately,
Yes.
right, we support it, say, hey, yeah, that's a good boy, pick them up and take them away, because you don't want to repeat it.
Right. Well, there's two different parts of it. You know, backing is repetition.
Yeah.
If they don't understand.
Right, but
when
this is the understanding piece.
You do too much, then you're stealing the desire. They're gonna start losing backing, and you start getting soft backs.
And it becomes just way too artificial.
And this is too can. Right.
Too can.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So let's get to it. Once we grab. We have one dog who's just in its first week of training. It's 10 months old.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring that dog in and see, but it is pointing. It understands that chuckers are something that it likes. So we'll see if we can't draw that backing instinct, that pointing instinct out of the pup as we come in.
Okay.
And we're gonna try to get the good, the bad, and the ugly for you. So we're gonna bring in a bunch of different dogs and see if we can't get a few scenarios to learn from. Okay.
All right.
Sound good?
Sound good.
Let's do it. I like to do this, and you tell me if you think it's a good idea for your dog. Is I like to kind of cue the dog, especially if he has no idea what's going on, like this one. Yeah. And just kind of cue it in, be like, hey, what you got? Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, and kind of get the dog mentally
I'm looking for game, right?
starting to say, oh, and it'll start checking its environment, and then you'll come around the corner and, oh, that's what she was talking about.
What you got?
Good, whenever you're ready. Okay, come back. No.
Oh, just
go ahead and
ahead.
pick her up.
Just go ahead, staunch her up. Yep, pick her right out of there.
Now just carry her right back out.
Leave it.
Okay, so next part we're going to get rid of that set. It didn't attach to that. This was a distraction. So I'm going to get rid of this bird, and we're going to see if we can't get her reattached.
Good, good. That's okay. Just take the bird.
Angie, come.
Take the bird. It's okay. That's okay.
This is what goes wrong.
You know, see the good, the bad, the ugly. We're in
This
it.
is ugly.
All right, let's do it again.
Pull her out. I think we got something now.
So,
Go back. Go away.
okay, go away. I love it.
All that, Patty.
I love it.
I got all that.
Come on. You got it all.
All right, folks, you got the ugly. So let's do the ugly again. Let's see if we can't make it the good.
Well, one of the things, this is a learning portion of it, was the gravitation for thought was at the bird. If we'd have moved that closer to the target, which is the backing dog, we would have got what we wanted. So now we're going to see if we got it.
So what we have right here, right behind the silhouette, is a bird in a trap, but also we have the fake bird right there. So the dog should be anticipating something great is over here. It may initially go back to where it found the bird, and hopefully it gravitates to getting a point in the back over here. Let's try. Keep her going. There.
Whoa. Whoa.
Stand behind the dog. The
Go to your
silhouette.
dog.
Stand behind the silhouette. Whoa. So what Blaine is doing here is he's trying to get the dog with a little more drive, a little more excitement that, hey, something's about to happen. Yeah. See the dog flinching, getting excited. Now he's probably going to pick her up, get her out, and we're going to try it again. Okay? It's a repetition game. Okay? As long as the drive is building, we're on the right track.
So I brought a dog into, had never seen a back, had never
Yeah.
seen that.
This is a
Never
new
seen
scenario.
the stuffed bird.
Yeah.
Had never seen a pop trap.
Not putting anything together.
Never put it together till, and then, but she did on the third attempt.
Yeah.
The dog fell on her head, good nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's try
Okay,
it one
we
more
got
time.
better.
All right. Let's see what we got this time around.
More drive.
So he's going to communicate with the lead, try to give it a tap to say, whoa,
Too much scent. We got birds over there. Whoa.
there, tap.
There it is, right there.
Problem
That's
we're
it, right
having
there.
right now is the wind is shifting, so she's not getting scent from the silhouette. Ideally, you would like them to be initially getting scent from the silhouette,
But
from
she
the bird
just,
behind the silhouette.
she just made her first attach.
I think she attached.
You see it? She
Yeah.
went bang.
She went, oh, I want to find it over here. That's where I found it before. There's still ground scent over here she wants to check out. There is a few distractions in this scenario. Ideally, we would pick up and go to a fresh, clean scenario and try it again. So let's just bring her back around.
This is it.
Yep.
She's done.
Oh, she's done. We got what we wanted for this. For this
Why
round.
would I do it?
Right.
So the next time she comes out
She's gonna
looking
go a
for
little
it,
bit closer.
there's no scent. Her nose saying, okay, I see it somewhere. And then eventually the visual picks in. But when she couldn't find it on scent, she looked over at
Yeah.
that bird,
Yeah.
and that's when the first
Yeah.
attachment occurred.
And that's what you want. That's the imprinting you want to leave with.
Oh
it right
man, that's just the
Perfect.
start of it.
Perfect.
That's
All
the
right, let's
start.
bring in another greenie.
That's the end of part 1. Be sure and watch part 2. That's when we're going to show the green dogs that have no experience. So be sure and watch part 2 if you're really serious about teaching your dog to back.
Bird Dogs Afield, presented by Native Performance Dog Food and brought to you in part by RST Shot Shells, Mud River Dog Products, Pete Shoe Dryer, Thorogood Footwear, and Merkel Shotguns.